No one wanted him. Skinny, injured, and trembling, this abandoned rescue dog sat alone at a crowded dog auction, ignored by everyone as the crowd laughed and walked away. But then, a 7-year-old girl did something no one expected. What happened next shocked everyone around, changed both their lives forever, and became a story no one in town would ever forget. The sun sank behind Cedar Grove's tall buildings. The air smelled of wet asphalt and popcorn. Families bustled, kids ran with cotton candy, and vendors shouted over the cheerful chaos. It was a normal evening, until a small, trembling dog in a dark alley caught the eye of 7-year-old Maya Carter, and nothing would ever be the same. Maya walked beside her mother, Elena. They were supposed to head straight home, back to their small apartment on Willow Street. Nothing fancy, but cozy with its warm lamps and hand-painted walls. Yet fate had a funny way of redirecting quiet evenings. Because as they crossed the alley behind the market, they heard noise. Loud noise. A crowd, whistles, laughter, a man shouting numbers. Elena frowned. What on earth? Maya, curious as always, tugged her mother's sleeve. Mom, can we see? And that single question pulled them toward the alley where their lives would change forever. The alley was lit with harsh industrial lights. A temporary stage had been set up. A long metal railing separated the crowd from a row of cages. Inside those cages were dogs. Big ones, small ones, fearful ones, confused ones, all of them trembling or pacing, waiting as people shouted bids like it was some kind of game. A dog auction. You didn't normally see this kind of thing in Cedar Grove, but every few months, some breeder liquidation sale appeared, something legal on the outside but morally soaked in gray. Elena shook her head, pulling Maya closer. We shouldn't be here. But Maya had already stopped walking. Her eyes had locked onto something, or rather, someone, a small shaking dog in the last cage against the wall. He was skinny, too skinny, like he hadn't eaten enough in weeks. His fur was patchy, his ribs showed through his tight skin, and one of his hind legs looked slightly bent, like he struggled to stand on it. His ears weren't perked but hung down, defeated. His eyes weren't bright. They were tired, sunken, pleading in a way only a soul that had suffered could plead. He didn't bark. He didn't whine. He sat still, shivering silently in the corner of the cage as if he knew no one wanted him. As if he had already accepted his fate. Maya froze, her breath caught in her throat. Mom! Elena followed her daughter's gaze and exhaled slowly, pain flickering across her face. Sweetheart, don't look at him. He's hurt, and we can't. Maya stepped forward before her mother could finish. Her tiny heart felt like it was being squeezed. She had seen animals before, dogs at parks, pets at friends' houses, but she had never felt something like this. Never felt a pull so deep, like destiny gripping her shoulders and turning her toward one creature in need. The auctioneer clapped his hands loudly. All right, folks, last one for tonight, he shouted, tapping the cage of the trembling dog with a metal stick. This one's a young male mix. Had a rough couple of months, leg injury, skittish, not exactly a working dog. Might be good for someone who wants something quiet. People laughed. Someone shouted, Quiet because he can't even stand. Another yelled, That thing won't guard a leaf, forget a house. Poor quality, another added. Maya's little heart cracked. The dog didn't react to the insults. He just lowered his head further, as if trying to disappear into the cold metal behind him. The auctioneer tried again, though his tone was bored. All right, folks, starting bid, $50. Silence. People folded their arms. Someone walked away. Another shrugged and said, Not wasting money on that thing. The auctioneer sighed. 30? Nothing. Elena, one woman whispered nearby. They should just end his misery. No one's taking a dog like that home. Maya's eyes widened, horrified. No, she whispered. They can't do that, Mom. Elena tried to guide her away. Maya, sweetheart, we shouldn't get involved. But Maya's chest tightened. Her eyes filled, because she saw something in that dog no one else saw. Not weakness, not uselessness, but a soul, fighting to stay alive. She felt it like a storm inside her, and without thinking, without even understanding the depth of her actions, Maya raised her small hand. I'll take him! The alley fell silent. Heads turned. The auctioneer blinked. What? Maya stepped forward boldly. I'll take him, please. the crowd murmured. People snickered. One man laughed loudly. Kid, he ain't a stuffed toy. Someone else added, let her buy him. She'll regret it in an hour. Elena stepped forward quickly, shocked. Maya, put your hand down. But Maya didn't move. Her voice shook, but her conviction didn't. He's scared and alone. No one wants him. That's not fair. Maya. Mom, she whispered, tears welling up. Look at him. He needs someone. The dog lifted his head weakly. For the first time, he looked at her. Not at the crowd, not at the auctioneer. Just at her. His tired eyes met Maya's young, trembling ones. It felt like a fragile, invisible thread stretched between them. A spark of hope in his broken gaze. A promise in hers. Elena swallowed hard. She wasn't rich. She worked 2 jobs. Their apartment was small. They didn't have extra space. But she saw Maya's face, saw the determination burning there. Saw the bond already forming. The auctioneer shrugged. $30. Maya turned to her mom, whispering, Please, please don't let him be thrown away. And that broke Elena. With a deep exhale, she reached into her purse, pulled out her last set of grocery cash, and handed it to the auctioneer. Sold, he announced with a mocking grin. To the little lady. People chuckled as they walked away. Waste of money. Poor kid will learn. He won't survive a week. But none of that mattered to Maya. Because as soon as the cage door opened, the trembling dog didn't run, didn't bark. He crawled out slowly, painfully, and rested his head gently on Maya's knee. Like he had been waiting for her. Like he finally felt safe. Maya crouched, placed her small hand on his back and whispered, It's okay. I'm here now. And the dog, for the first time in who knows how long, closed his eyes peacefully. That night, they brought him home wrapped in a blanket. He didn't eat much. He hardly drank. He slept curled tightly, shaking in his dreams. But every time he whimpered, Maya woke up and put her hand on him. And he calmed. Days turned into weeks. The dog, who Maya named River because she said his eyes look like they have stories flowing in them, began to heal. The vet confirmed his leg was sprained but treatable, malnourished but reversible. River was quiet, gentle, loyal. He followed Maya everywhere, even limping at her pace. He sat when she did her homework, lay beside her when she had nightmares, walked beside her when she waited for the school bus, grew stronger day by day because someone finally loved him enough to believe he could. And he proved everyone wrong. Slowly, shockingly, beautifully, River transformed. His fur grew back soft and healthy. His bent legs straightened after regular therapy. His tail, once tucked between his legs, now wagged proudly. He wasn't the weak dog the auction mocked. He became a symbol of resilience. But more importantly, River became Maya's guardian. On the street, when an aggressive stray charged toward her, River stepped in front, teeth bared, protecting her until help came. At the park, when Maya slipped from the playground structure, River broke her fall by diving under her. At home, when Maya felt anxious or cried after a bully at school teased her, River placed his head on her lap and stayed until she smiled. He wasn't just a pet. He became her shield, her comfort, her silent protector. Their bond grew unbreakable, but everything truly changed one winter night. Snow piled up outside. The roads were slick, the wind harsh. Elena was working a late shift at the diner. Maya stayed home with River, drawing pictures at the small wooden table beside the window. Around 8:30, Maya got cold and stood to shut the window she'd left slightly open. On her way back, her foot caught on the rug. She stumbled, landing hard and knocking the breath out of her. River ran to her, whining, nudging her face. "I'm okay," she whispered, trying to stand. But she wasn't. The fall had triggered a sharp pain in her chest. Her breathing turned shallow. Asthma attack. She reached for her inhaler on the living room shelf, but her trembling hands knocked it down, sending it rolling under the couch. River barked loudly, something he rarely did. Maya wheezed, tears streaming down her face. "River, help!" River didn't understand English, but he understood her distress. He sprinted to the couch, nudged his head underneath, pawed, pushed, and after a moment of frantic effort, pulled the inhaler out. He carried it in his mouth to her. Maya managed to use it, slowly, painfully. Her breathing steadied. River lay beside her, licking her arm gently, whining with worry. That night changed everything. From that point on, Elena knew River wasn't just a rescued dog. He was an angel delivered through their darkest alley at the market. Years passed, and every year River stayed by Maya's side. When she learned to ride a bike, when she struggled in school, when she had her first heartbreak, when she cried, laughed, grew stronger. He stayed. Because the girl who raised her hand in that alley didn't just buy a dog. She saved a life, and that life spent every day saving hers back. People who had laughed at Maya that night would later see River grown strong, healthy, beautiful, loyal beyond measure. They would whisper things like, "That's the same dog? Impossible. He looks better than half the dogs in this town." But Maya never bragged. She simply smiled and said, "He just needed love, that's all." River became known around Cedar Grove as the gentle giant. Children played with him. Adults trusted him. Maya and River became a pair the whole town admired. A reminder that sometimes the most broken souls turn out to be the greatest protectors. River grew old eventually. His muzzle grayed, his steps slowed, but even then, he followed Maya everywhere. And whenever someone asked Maya why she chose the weakest dog there, she always gave the same answer. Because he chose me first with his eyes. River passed away peacefully years later, his head resting in Maya's lap, just like the very first day. But his legacy lived on. Maya grew up inspired by the dog who taught her compassion, loyalty, and healing. She became a veterinary nurse, rescuing animals others overlooked, because someone once did the same for River. And every animal she saved, every dog she nursed, every broken creature she pieced back together, was a tribute to the trembling dog in that cold alley who became her hero. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support helps more rescue stories reach the world.